Yeah, Ziggy, 1-0 for his career, and started with Clayton. Good decision penciling him in there tonight, and rough early, couldn't, the double, base hit, the walk, I think it was, base hit, walk, and but he found a way to get through that first inning, and after that, he kind of hit his stride and was, where he needed to be. Pitch count got up there early, but for him to get through 6 innings and then for us to get to the pen was great. Corey down today, and some guys came up big, got some big hits when we needed to.
Bases loaded and 1 out. What is it about Clayton that he's able to seemingly get out of those situations more often than others, perhaps in that same type of position?
It's tough, because that could have been, right then, Chatwood, a guy who's really has good stuff, and for those guys to take the lead early, and it would have changed obviously the complexion of the game, but Clayton has a way to find another gear, another level, and and make pitches. And sometimes when you get a guy with his reputation on the mound, guys tend to squeeze the bat a little bit harder when guys are in scoring position, and you take that on top of Clayton making executing pitches, it's tough.
Chatwood had a difficult time finding his spots tonight with 8 walks, tying a career high. What is it about your offense tonight that forced him to work?
Well, I think that one thing is when you face in my opinion, when you face a guy like Clayton, that opposing pitcher is going to be ramped up and jacked up. So there were some 97s from Chatwood tonight, and he was max effort from pitch 1. And so, when you're doing that, it's hard to sustain that. And so when you take that on top of an offense that is very disciplined outside the strike zone, it gets tough. And I think that there was a point there, he just, there were some right-hand hitters, he couldn't throw the ball over the plate. And so we're willing to take the walk. And, Jock has a big homer. But I think for us to be able to stress him, to get in their pen, it's just kind of a formula we've been kind of going with for the last couple weeks.
Turner took exception to something in the bottom of the 6th. What happened there with his conversation with C.B. Buckner?
I think it was just the ball strike. And, there were some questionable calls tonight, and I think that they had a little conversation.
What was your concern level with Clayton in the first, not just because the bases were loaded, his pitch count was coming up to 30 with only 1 out?
That was probably, obviously, you're trying to win the game, and we feel very comfortable with Clayton on the mound. But, when you're approaching 30 and, you got 1 out, it starts to kind of get a little dicey there. So I didn't get to the point where we needed to get somebody up, but there is a point where you don't want to put him in harm's way.
You mentioned, I think Tuesday, I wouldn't want to be the Rockies come Saturday. Did you sense any different kind of edge? Or like
he was on edge. I think that every time he takes a mound, he's on edge. But tonight, I think there was even more, I guess, if that's even possible. So he was amped up and a little frustrated, I think, early on with some execution, but settled in nicely.
Dave, we know there were contractual reasons why Brandon Morrow came up when he did, but he's been lights out ever since he came up. Is he earning a permanent spot in that bullpen right now?
Permanent spot, I really don't or can't speak to that, but I know that every opportunity he's been given, he's performed, and he's pitched some big innings for us. I think right now it's 9 innings and hasn't given up a run yet. And, from our fielders to some rumblings from the opposition, the stuff really plays up. And it's the 99, it's the hard slider, and getting righties and lefties out. So obviously I've put him in some big spots, some higher leverage spots. So he's doing everything he can to kind of showcase himself.
Like Jock yelled something toward the dugout right after he hit the homer. Was he yelling at Ziggy? Or?
He might have been. Jock, like a lot of our players, pretty emotional. And he's been working hard on trying to get on track and have put some good at-bats together. So he might have given Ziggy a little love right there.
Dave, the 10 walks tonight, they had 9 walks a couple nights ago. and you're on this big home run hitting streak. Is there a connection between those two things?
There is. I think that, we talk a little bit about scaring pitchers out of the strike zone. And, when you're a pitcher and you feel you've got to be fine and perfect to get guys out, that's a tough way to go through a lineup. And, we've been very stubborn in the strike zone, taking our walks, keeping the line moving. And, when there is a pitch that we can handle and do damage with, we're slugging.
Dave, you surprised at all that the Rockies have not played as well as they have most of the season? This is the first time they've lost 4 straight, shutout and 1-run previous games. It's surprising at all they're not swinging the bat.
I mean, they're a good ball club. They really are. They've played well all year. And, I think that Alex threw a great game last night, and Clayton did the same thing. So it worked out nicely that we had 2 of our best pitchers going, and we've got McCarthy going tomorrow. So, I guess the old adage, good pitching beats good hitting, but they're a good ball club.
Dave, I saw you having a chat with Ziggy, I believe in the 6th. Where were you guys talking about there?
I wanted to make sure that he was okay with this decision to go to the pen and get Clayton, if Clayton was done for the night. So I wanted confirmation, and he gave me the okay.